Previously on A Life Awry. After a rather pleasant night at Double Island Point, we woke to find that we had a very short window to cross the wide bay bar, as the conditions were deteriorating. We managed to cross the bar in good time, but it definitely wasn't smooth sailing. It was a pretty wild ride, to be honest. We navigated our way through the shallows of the Great Sandy Straits, with a couple of stops in between to stretch the legs after 48 hours on board. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe to follow us on our adventures. And if you like what you see, be sure to hit the like button. It really helps us out.
There was once a little baby who was born far away. It's actually nice though, lovely. Well, we're anchored. Go this way so you can see me. Anchored in Platypus Bay, just up out of the Sandy Straits, sort of just around the corner. I can't tell you right now exactly where, but this is where. There's our eye. We've just come ashore for a bit of a walk before the sun goes down. Absolutely pretty much no breeze today, so we motored here probably 3 hours. And yeah, we've just had whales swim past. They literally, if we were on the boat, they would have been 20 meters away. It's a shame, but oh well. Don't really have much phone reception here, but I'm going to try and check the weather. There wasn't supposed to be much wind for the next couple of days, so if that's the case, we may just chill here. And then I think it's Saturday today, I think Tuesday maybe there might be some more breeze coming. So if that's the case, then we will probably make our way to Bundaberg from here, have a quick one-nighter at Bundy just as a break it up, and then maybe from there to Pancake Creek, spend maybe a day or so at Pancake Creek, a couple of nights maybe, and then we will make our way to Gladstone, weather permitting. Probably a two-week mark by that stage, and then we'll probably have to do a big send to the Keppels from there. I don't know, something like that, and then up to Early. Along those lines, maybe Keppels, Percy's, and then Early. Yeah! Ready, 1, 2, 3. Oh, almost, sorry. the joys of a rolly anchorage. He's actually doing really well.
We're here still at, oh my god, I don't even know where we are. Oh, Platypus Bay, Anchorage. And the boys are going for a little dinghy mission. Jack is like loving the dinghy. He pines for it when he sees it at the back of the boat. So Kieran's taking him for a spin. So this is our last day here. We're gonna head into the beach for one last time. Just go for a bit of a run.
Got a ferry booking for Leeann.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you.
Yeah? Are you enjoying the beach? This is just absolutely glorious. Just come back from the beach, and it's family wash day. So Jack's got the deck wash hose, and he's giving himself a wash. Are you having a wash, Jack? You are? Oh, you're washing the boat too? It's so nice that it's worthwhile. We've got the beach to ourselves. No one else here. Beautiful clear water. Hey, you've been having fun on the beach? Collecting shells and running into the waves? Sit down. Where are you going? Let's go.
It's so nice being up for sunrise. There's something about it. I just love it. I love being up early. So we've just left our anchorage and the whales are going crazy over there.
Only got like 5 knots of, maybe 6 knots of breeze at the moment, but we're doing sort of 4 knots under main head sail just after the beam, sort of on the beam. It is going to come around probably forward of the beam for a while, but the wind is forecast to sort of move behind us a bit more, so we'll see how we go through the day. I was hoping for a bit more breeze this morning already, but the wind keeps moving, and then tomorrow there's wind warnings. So
we're heading to Bundaberg today, and then we're going to stay one night in Bundaberg, and then we're heading up to Pancake Creek the day after. All going well.
All going well. Look at this boss helming in a following sea. Surfing at 10 knots.
Okay, so Mum's just got out of bed. Daddy and Jack said I could have a sleep in. It's 8:15. We've been here the last 24 hours. This is day 2. And it's just been pissing rain. So we haven't left the boat. We actually haven't left the boat. This will be day 4 if we don't leave today.
So, day 4 on the boat. And if we don't get out today, it'll be a full 4 days without getting off the boat. Because we're at Pancake Creek. Yeah, see, and Jack really wants to get off the boat, but it's pissing down. And it's blowing 20 plus knots. I know.
Come here.
So hopefully, or after his nap today,
Come here.
the weather's supposed to break around midday / late afternoon. So everything's looking alright. We'll rug up and go ashore regardless. But it's been shocking. We had good weather for sailing, but since we got here it just started raining and it's blowing 20 plus knots. So I've started the engine just to be precautionary because we've got 20 knots coming out of the west now, which it wasn't forecast for. It was predicted to go south-southwest at the most. Now it's not such a problem. If it was just the wind, we're okay. But because the tide is currently on the outgoing, which we sit nicely to because the wind and the tide are kind of together. When the tide switches and comes back in, will be wind against tide, and the way that we're facing at the moment, we'll sit with the tide, and the wind will be, everything will be pushing us into the shallows rather than pushing us into the deeper water. At the moment we're sitting in 1.4 meters under the keel. It is pretty much low tide almost, but we have swung around. I'll show you on the charts. You can see here, this is where we've normally been sitting with a sort of southerly, southwesterly, southeasterly, and then when the tide changes and comes in, we sit here. Now because the wind is now coming out of the west, out this way, we're now sitting here, and so when the tide changes, it's going to push us that way and the wind is pushing us in. So as you can see, there's shallows right there. We're in, yeah, I'm not sure. The problem is we've also got a boat anchored pretty much right here over the top of our chain, because they've swung around too, so now they're sitting over our chain. So I'm just being very cautious right now. I started the engine because she's an old donk. She needs a little bit warming up before we put her under a bit of load. So I've had her running for 10-15 now, which means she's nice and toasty. So when we want her to perform, she'll perform for us. But yeah, I'm just sort of standing by. It's hard to make too much of a move right now because of the boat that's anchored right in front of us. And it's pissing rain and blowing 20 knots. Oh, 16 at the moment.
So we have the opportunity to move because the boat that we were very close to has upped their anchor and moved. So we're going to move now because we're like a boat length away from the shallows.
Look at the waves through the anchorage. Holy moly.
Go sailing, they said.
Yeah. Go north, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Go north for winter. I think we're okay still.
It's so scary. Like, the adrenaline is real.
Oh, pumping. I feel like if this calms down and it's nice, I'm going to run. We were not predicting 45 knot gusts.
Oh my god, I am so happy we are not out there sailing.
Well, I think we just seen 50, but the mast was too far over to read it properly. I saw 48 and then it just kept climbing. You can see we're swinging backwards and forwards, but we don't seem to be budging, so that's a good feeling. Oh, I need a piss.
I don't want you to go to the toilet if you can't. And the little man is sleeping through it all.
He sleeps through the rockets.
My legs are shaking. After 2 hours, the wind eased, and we were greeted with blue skies. It was time to go ashore. We got chatting to other people in the anchorage, and one boat recorded a gust of 60 knots. So nice to walk on the beach after 3 full days of being on board.
We're missing 2 bolts in. We're just leaving, yeah, heading up to making our way to the Keppels. And I was just doing a quick, what, 7:30 at night. Doing a quick pre-checks on the engine, oil, coolant, etc. I noticed a bolt lying in the sump below the engine. So of course you investigate and it turns out it's the exhaust elbow. I've got 2 of the 4 bolts have rattled loose, so that's come undone. Well, it wasn't. I've undone it further now. So I've got some gasket stuff to put in there, and hopefully I can get these bolts back in. Looks like I might need some new bolts. I shouldn't have. These ones obviously aren't doing up tight enough. I think they're a bit stuffed, a bit old and rusty. So yeah, lovely. What do they say? Cruising is fixing boats in exotic places.
Yeah.
But that's why you do your checks. I thought I could smell something actually. So it smells a bit more engine-y down here, so
which isn't good. So, but anyway, hopefully it holds out, should be okay. Oh, the baby's awake. But yeah, we're back together. So.
Meanwhile, I'm out here tidying, getting the boat ready, so we can leave tomorrow. Due to past experiences, we found that we need to have the boat seaworthy before we leave, because shit goes everywhere. So it's the conditions tomorrow are promised. There's actually no wind promised for tomorrow, so it should be smooth, but then, as Kieran says, the seas might be rolly still, so it might be, who knows, it depends on the sea state. So yeah, I'm just tidying up and putting everything back. Like, I find when we stay somewhere for a few days, it kind of gets a bit untidy, and then we just have to put everything away again, and then it's tidy for while we're sailing, and then we settle somewhere for a few days and it's just a mess again. But we've had a lovely 5 days here, despite the stormy weather conditions for like 2 hours.